Shalom family, welcome back to my channel. I'm here to do a quick review on just a few of the fights on the Clarissa Shields card. Probably just stick to the women's fights, but there was one very interesting male bout that kind of upset me. But let me get going here. The first one that I saw on there that I liked and wanted to speak to is it was a debut for a woman out of Puerto Rico named Ashley Ann Lozada, and she fought a Denise Moran. I think she's out of California. Again, this was Lozada's first fight ever. She looked amazing. I want to call her left hook Lozada because she was letting them things go. She was showing out. I guess she's going to be on these Salido cards, or she fights for Salido, so I'll be looking forward to see what she does. And, there's some itty-bitties. I think they're super bantams, so I'll be looking for her, though, going forward. The next one was... Caroline Veyre versus Carmen Vargas. That was a good fight. I like this Caroline Veyre. She is 8-1. I think she's out of France. Haha, my French video. So next time I do a part 2 for the French connection, I think I'm going to add her on there because I believe she's fighting out of Canada, as most of these French fighters do. But I like her. She's clean. She very good jab, good check left hooks. She can fight. And matter of fact, shout out to Michael Ray II, because he's the one who really pointed some of these things out to me about her. She could fight on the back foot. She is good with the range, keeping the perfect range. And she got some power for a little lady as well. She is a featherweight, so she ended up leaving Miss Vargas with a dinner roll under her eye. I was like, yeah, that was crazy. It was a good fight. Caroline Veyre, out of Canada by way of France, good fighter. So the bout that bothered me, there was the male bout, was the Brandon Moore versus Skylar Lacy. If you didn't know the names necessarily, it's Brandon is the guy that got yoked up by the big Neanderthal, man. Somebody told me Brandon could fight, and he did. He did very well, considering Brandon is 16-1. Skylar was 8-2 draws. Apparently, Skylar is a big-time sparring partner for some pros. So he's a big dude. Matter of fact, let me see. He is 6'7", you guys. He's 30 years old. He looks like Lurch or Frankenstein or something. But anyway, yeah, he made a hot mess up in that ring. He ended up getting disqualified because he was gassed, basically. But with his big old self, he wanted to keep laying on Brandon Moore. And it was annoying. Steve Willis was the ref. And instead of him giving this Skylar a point, taking a point, because he had been warning them over and over again about holding. And at first it started out as holding, but he took the point from Brandon Moore, who was the one being held in the beginning. And it was obvious Skylar was holding on because he was gassed. Well, then he turns around and gives Skylar, takes a point. But it was just so bad because these are some big guys. See, Brandon is 6'6", 6'6", 6'7". Brandon was 249.5 pounds. Skylar, 269 pounds. That's a lot of man meat, man. And they were, he kept taking them to the ropes. And I mean, y'all, look, the ropes was given. People was moving away from the skirt. They knocked the cameraman off the little podium. It was just crazy. And ultimately, which was inevitable, because it just got so bad with the clinching. And it wasn't even clinching. It was literally laying on Brandon. And Steve Willis got to the point where he's hollering at Brandon Moore. Well, you're not, he said, you're clinching too. The reality is Brandon was trying to hold up this big mofo and to keep himself from falling, because dude, after a while, he was just bum rushing him. He was crashing into him, falling on him. And it was just a matter of time. They went through the ropes, ended up busting up the commentator's table, broke the computer screen. You guys, it was just bad. It was bad. And Steve Willis is in there sweating and hollering, and then he gets to counting down, and he finally disqualifies Skylar Lacy. He should have been did that. I was kind of upset. The sensei was just talking today about how good of a ref Steve Willis is. He fell short tonight, y'all. We all fall short, but Steve Willis fell short. Anyway, yeah. Brandon Moore ended up getting that by Skylar being disqualified, but the main bout, of course, I did my breakdowns on Clarissa Shields and Danielle Perkins. I refuse to talk about Papoose showing up with Clarissa. I feel some kind of way, and I really don't care to talk about it. But I will get into the fight because that's what I like. So overall, yeah, it was a very good fight. Clarissa, I'll read my little notes here. She utilized speed and timing to get inside when she did not get jabs, or when she didn't. Basically, she didn't jab and feint. She did not utilize the jabs and feints. Instead, she sat back and pounced with timed attacks. And later, I found out that she had a torn ligament in her left shoulder. And again, if you're familiar with Clarissa's fighting style, and I did say that in my breakdown, she is good for the double, triple, quadruple step jab coming at you. Doing so and feinting would have allowed her to get into the space of a long person such as Danielle. Instead of her having those tools, she ended up, like I said, pouncing, which it was still effective to some degree, but she was not able to, to use some of the regular tricks of the trade. She just had to resort to jumping in there and beating her at, and it was effective. She did fall short, although, on a lot of her overhand rights, because, man, she was throwing bombs, you guys. Them overhand rights, Clarissa could not miss tonight. It was beautiful. It was entertaining. Yeah. I think Clarissa did a very good job fighting this big woman. See if I could go here anywhere else. her not using her signature double triple step jab right. Overall, Clarissa showed her IQ and level of separation from Perkins, ending round 10 with a stunning knockdown, which to me looked like the woman was out on her feet. Her eyes rolled back up in her head, and I think the only thing holding Danielle up, to be honest, was the fact that she's kind of like knock-kneed and pigeon-toed, so she just didn't fall all the way down, and she rose up like the dead. Y'all, look, it was a good fight. Anyway, with the quick, well-timed overhand right, and that is another thing. She was timing. Again, I say she was just jumping in and pouncing, but she was timing Perkins, which actually didn't seem hard because Perkins, I'm just disappointed, to be honest. As far as Danielle, what I wrote down here, she neglected most of the time the jab to keep Clarissa at bay. She was very slow. She started out fighting tall, and as some of the rounds went on, her base kept getting lower to where she was very wide stance trying to get down to Clarissa's level. I do not think tall people should ever try to fight down to a small person's level or widen your base in order to meet. No, be tall, use your range, beat down on that person, right? Anyway, the last 10 seconds of round 2 is when I feel like she did her best work, punching, not smothering herself. And as I'm writing these notes, she had moments, a few, like literally a few, where she would work and she would get Clarissa to the triangle or the corner, get Clarissa near the ropes. And sometimes she had, she would start out kind of teeing off left, right. Her lefts wasn't worth nothing, and they should have been, considering she's a southpaw. But then she would end up smothering. It's like she would get in there and she almost would forget what she's supposed to be doing. Or I don't want to say she was afraid. I don't know exactly what was going on with her. She's just slow as hell. She seemed out of sorts when Clarissa attacked. A lot of times when Clarissa would pounce on her, again, it's like she did not know what to do with her hands. She didn't understand being the tall person, being any size person, you can step back and get your work off. It's like she would just kind of muddle through grappling with Clarissa. You guys look, anyway. Yep, she seemed out of sorts on attack, never stepped back to keep her range and work. She took the overhand right from Clarissa over and over again, never threw the 2, and I'm incorrect in saying that. She did throw her straight left. Again, it was just ineffective. She should have been setting that shot up, and it's her power shot. You should have been getting off on that. Clarissa was open for it, and I'm not to say that she couldn't have got out of the way, but geez, how many times could you have actually connected that shot versus really not throwing it or half-heartedly throwing it? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, she neglected to throw the number 2, her most powerful straight left, with any authority when she did throw it. She had Shields cornered twice in 6 and 10 and did no good work. So yeah, I already said the fight ended in round 10, which was actually, it was a 10-round fight with, I think it was like the last 14 seconds to go, because she, Danielle Perkins does this little showboaty thing, and she got caught slipping. Clarissa timed that thing. It was an overhand right, she timed it and popped her, knocked the woman basically out on her feet. There was a round where Danielle fell. I think it was like round 2. And they were trying to call it a slip, but nah. Like I told you, she's kind of knock-kneed. She's kind of pigeon-toed. She tripped over her own feet. Took a while for her to get up. It's a big woman. Anyway, it was a good fight. Shout out to Clarissa. She is now the first Black, undisputed heavyweight woman in the world ever. I know she's beyond elated. No idea where she goes from here. I guess back down. Well, she did say, she says she wants to fight Franchon again. I'm not necessarily enthused about that. I'm not crazy about Franchon's fighting style. I just think back to the Shadeja fight, and that just kind of pissed me off. Both parties. I still love Shadeja though. She also said she wanted to fight. Who did she say? Franchon and yes, what I really been wanting for so long, Hannah Gabriels. So that means, and if you're not familiar, Hannah popped dirty. Something about some cream she put on her animals. Clarissa is willing to give this woman another shot. Hannah Gabriels is the only one who knocked Clarissa down. I think it was in the second round of their fight. And she just they had the best fight. I mean, to be honest, she said she wanted to fight Savannah Marshall too. That was also a good fight for Clarissa. I mean, Clarissa has good fights, but I wouldn't mind seeing those rematches. Let me see. Clarissa Shields, she was knocked down in the first round with the uppercut, if I recall correctly. So, yes, Hannah Gabriels. So, yeah, I'm with that. I'd like to see her go back down and fight these women, have some rematches. She's accomplished so much. At this rate, it's whatever she wants to do. But I babbled on it long enough. I thank you guys for listening to me. I will try to get my David Benavidez card recap down. It's just not enough hours in the day. And Saturday into Sunday, that's the beginning of my work week. So I thank you guys, though. I appreciate you all. Much love. And shalom to you.